All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called To Kill a Mockingbird, 1962. This is going to be another 80 recommendation, giving it 3 out of 5 stars. This movie is way overrated. The most beloved and widely read Pulitzer winner now comes vividly alive on the screen. To Kill a Mockingbird, starring Gregory Peck with Mary Badham, Philip Alford, John Magna, Ruth White. Paul something. Paul Fix. Brock Peters, Frank Overton, Rosemary Murphy, Colin Wilcox. Screenplay by Horton Foote, based on Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird. Music by Elmer Bernstein. Directed by Robert Mulligan. Produced by Alan Pakula. A Pakula Mulligan Brentwood Productions picture. A Universal release. Lame stream. Can you say lame stream? I don't know. Karate Man's in the chat room. Oh, he's heard of this movie. Adrian recommended it, and he's also from Australia, and he likes lame stream movies. I just watched it at St. Dominic's movie night, which is the second Friday of every month is movie night at St. Dominic's, and I went to my very first one. I should have gone earlier, but whatever. This movie was already on my list down in the, I think it was 393 on my list, and I just knocked it out. I finally got it out of the way. So you could say I'm not going in order on my list this weekend, and it's going to be the same way next month when I go to movie night. I'm going to be watching Risen, which isn't even on my list. Anyways, To Kill a Mockingbird is a 1962 U.S. coming-of-age legal drama crime film directed by Robert Mulligan, starring Gregory Peck and Mary Badham, with Philip Alford, John Magna, Frank Overton, James Anderson, and Brock Peters in supporting roles. It marked the film debut of Robert Duvall, William Wyndham, and Alice Ghostley, adopted by Horton Foote from Harper Lee's 1960 Pulitzer Prize winning novel. They made the movie 2 years later. It follows a lawyer, Peck, in Depression-era Alabama. I thought he was in Mississippi, defending a black man, Peters, charged with rape while educating his children, Badham and Alford, against prejudice. Oh, isn't that nice? He wants to make nice with the colored people in Alabama. It gained overwhelmingly positive reception from both the critics and the public. A box office success. It earned more than 6 times its budget. Lame stream, can you say lame stream? Production company, Brentwood Productions, Universal, distributed by Universal Pictures. Release date December 25th, 1962 in the United States. Running time 129 minutes. Country United States. Language English. Budget $2 million and box office $13.1 million. Karate Man didn't know this was Robert Duvall's very first film in 1962. That came as a surprise. Anyway, the film won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Actor for Peck and Best Adapted Screenplay for Foot, and it was nominated for 8, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actress for Badham. In 1995, the film was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. In 2003, the American Film Institute named Atticus Finch the greatest movie hero of the 20th century. He's a whitey trying to make nice with the colored people in Alabama. In 2007, the film ranked 25th on the AFI's 10th anniversary list of the greatest U.S. movies of all time. In 2008, the film ranked first on the AFI's list of the 10 greatest courtroom dramas. Gregory Peck loves this courtroom stuff. Anyways, in 2020, the British Film Institute included it in their list of 50 films you should see by the age of 15. And here I am, 54. I'm age 54, and I'm seeing it for the first time. That tells you how lamestream it is. Anyway, the film was restored and released on Blu-ray and DVD in 2012 as part of the 100th anniversary of Universal Pictures. It is considered to be one of the greatest movies ever made. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. This movie is way, way overrated. And Karate Man just left the chat room. He's no longer interested in this movie. Okay. He deleted all of his chats because they're, well, I don't know why. They're related to the film, so it's not like he's recommending anything new. It's just, you're just asking me in the comments section, where is Jean-Claude Van Damme on my list? It's 4 to 5 months away, Karate Man. Hold your horses. Anyway, young Scout and her elder brother. I like this Scout kid. She's kind of the first person narrator of the story. And she's kind of a tomboy, even though she doesn't like to wear her dress to school. Young Scout and her older brother Jern lived in Macomb, Alabama in the early 1930s, smack dab in the middle of the depths of the Great Depression. Despite the family's modest means, the children enjoy a happy childhood with their widowed father, Atticus Finch, and their black housekeeper, Calpurnia. How can Atticus Finch afford a housekeeper if he has modest means in the Great Depression? Seems like he has a nice big house and a housekeeper, and he's doing all right. He's riding around in a car while everybody else does the horse and buggy. Anyways, over the summer, Jern, Scout, and their friend Dill play games, and they often search for author Boo Radley, an odd, reclusive neighbor who lives with his brother Nathan. Okay, so Boo Radley is played by none other than Robert Duvall, and you don't see him until the end of the movie. That's why they say he's reclusive. The children have never seen Boo, who rarely leaves the house. Occasionally, Jem has found small objects left inside a tree knot hole on the Radley property, including a broken pocket watch, an old spelling bee medal, a pocket knife, and carved soap dolls resembling Jem and Scout. Good old Arthur Boo Radley. He doesn't. Robert Duvall doesn't have a single word of dialogue in this movie. He doesn't utter a single word of script in this movie. Anyways, Atticus, a lawyer, strongly believes all people deserve fair treatment in turning the other cheek and in defending what you believe. I like the turning the other cheek part because he gets spat on by a racist white supremacist guy who raped his own daughter and then blamed it on the black dude. You get spat on by this guy and he just wipes off the spit like nothing happened. And that's what somebody who lives his life according to the teachings of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's what he should have done. That was the highlight of the movie for me right there. Yeah, there's some overt racism in this. They use the N-word a lot. But other than that, the movie is just a boring soap opera to me. And really didn't grab me the courtroom speech where he's talking about all men are created equal. Obviously, that didn't apply to slaves. When the Supreme Court said that a black person was 2/5 of a person, which didn't make sense. But and then even though he said all, he wasn't convincing to the racist jury either. And that was kind of a letdown. I mean, he could have been more convincing. He could have said something else besides all men are created equal. That's just a corny passage from the Declaration of Independence that they teach in public school. Anyways, many of Atticus's clients are poor farmers who pay his legal services and trade, leaving him fresh produce, firewood, and so on. So in other words, they're on the barter system during the Great Depression, which is kind of cool. Atticus's work often exposes Scout and Jem to the town's racism, aggravated by poverty. As a result, the children mature more quickly. Oh, I see. The local judge asks Atticus to defend Tom Robinson, a black man accused of raping a white girl, Mayella Ewell, and Atticus accepts this heightens tension in the town, and it causes Jem and Scout to experience schoolyard taunts. Scout fights with boys in her dress, and she always gets the upper hand. I like Scout in this one. She doesn't mess around. Even so, Atticus tells her not to fight. But she still has the urge to fight for some reason. Anyways, on the evening before the trial, Atticus sits out front to safeguard Robinson when a lynch mob arrives. Scout, Jem, and Dill unexpectedly interrupt the confrontation. Scout, unaware of the mob's purpose, recognizes Mr. Cunningham and asks him to say hello to his son Walter, her classmate. He becomes embarrassed, and the mob disperses. Yeah, angry mob isn't going to attack three white kids. That was a pretty cool scene too. At the trial, it is alleged that Tom entered the Ewell property at Mayella's request to out up a chifforobe, and that Mayella showed signs of having been beaten by her father, but they blamed it on the black dude. One of Atticus's defensive arguments is that Tom's left arm is disabled due to a farming accident years ago in a cotton gin. Yet the supposed rapist would have mostly assaulted Mayella with his left hand before raping her. But that didn't stop the racist jury from declaring the black man guilty for a crime that he did not commit. Obviously, they're a bunch of dumb hicks, and this shows the contrary to what Gregory Peck says about the great equalizer, the that all men are created equal in the courtroom. That's not the case in this courtroom. So this movie kind of contradicts itself in that manner, because it's trying to say that the U.S. has this wonderful jury system that says all men are created equal, but then the racist jury gets the upper hand. It doesn't make any sense to me, this movie. Anyways, Atticus shows that Mayella's father, Bob Ewell, is left-handed. Implying he beat Mayella when he caught her seducing the young black defendant. So, so here we have this reminds me, for some reason, this reminds me of Mike Tyson when he was accused of raping a prostitute for giving him fellatio. It didn't make sense to me. How can you force somebody to give you fellatio? He could have bitten off his dingaling or something. She could have done that instead. Anyways, Atticus also states that a doctor never examined her after the alleged rape. Taking the stand, Tom denies he attacked Mayella, but states she kissed him against his will. He had previously assisted Mayella with various chores at her request because he felt sorry for her, words that incite a swift negative reaction from the prosecutor and a gasp from the White Office. How dare a black man feel sorry for a white woman? How dare he? In his closing argument, Atticus asks the all-white male jury to cast aside their prejudices and focus on Tom's obvious innocence. Yeah, it is obvious, but they're wearing bibs with suspenders. What do you expect? However, Tom is found guilty, which is one of the drawbacks of a jury system. You roll the dice and you get, sometimes you get a lucky lawsuit. Other times you get an incompetent jury who finds an innocent person guilty. I'm sure it's not the first time it happened. Just look at Just look at O.J. Simpson. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. As Atticus exits the courtroom, the African American spectators rise to show their respect and appreciation. But Tom is not grateful at all for his attorney's valiant stance in front of this racist mob in the courtroom. Anyways, when Atticus arrives home, Sheriff Tate tells him Tom was killed during his transfer to prison while attempting to escape. Atticus goes to the Robinsons to inform them of Tom's death, accompanied by Jem. Bob Ewell appears and spits in his face. This is the highlight of the movie right here. Bob Ewell is the scum, white male swine of a capital. No, he's an ignorant fool who an ignorant hillbilly from who doesn't know how to read and write. Probably dropped out of school in third grade. Anyways, autumn arrives, and Scout and Jem attend an evening school pageant in which Scout portrays a ham. After the pageant, Scout is unable to find her dress and shoes, forcing her to walk home with Jem while wearing a large hard-shelled costume. While cutting through the woods, Scout and Jem are attacked. Scout's cumbersome costume protects her but restricts her vision. The attacker knocks Jem unconscious, but he himself is attacked and killed by a second man unseen by Scout. She escapes her costume and sees the second man carrying Jem towards their house. Scout follows them and runs into the arms of a frantic Atticus. Still unconscious, Jem has his broken arm treated by Doc Reynolds. Scout tells Sheriff Tate that her father what happened and notices a strange man behind Jem's bedroom door. Atticus introduces Scout to Arthur Boo Radley, or just plain Boo. It was he who rescued the children, overpowering Bob Ewell and carrying Jen home. The sheriff reports that Ewell, apparently seeking revenge for Atticus, humiliating him in court, is dead at the scene of the attack. Atticus mistakenly assures Jem killed Ewell in self-defense, but Sheriff Tate realizes the truth. Boo killed Ewell defending the children. However, he insists on declaring Ewell simply fell on his knife, refusing to drag the painfully shy and introverted Boo into the spotlight for his heroism. So now we have a sheriff who's trying to be an idealist, not prosecuting Robert Duvall. Boo, even though he killed Ewell to defend the children. It's all very confusing, and the ending made no sense to me. I don't even know why Robert Duvall is in this in the first place. I guess it's sort of a redemption where they finally they've been peeking in the neighbor's window to find Boo, and then he shows up to save the children. James Stewart declined the role of Atticus Finch, concerned that the story was too controversial. A good decision. Universal offered the role to Rock Hudson when the project was being first developed, but producer Alan J. Pakula wanted a bigger star than Rock Hudson in 1962. Really? Good thing Rock Hudson made seconds. That was such an awesome comeback for him, even though it PO'd a lot of women. Pakula remembered hearing from Peck when he was first approached with the role. He called back immediately. No maybes, must say the man and the character he played were not unalike. Peck later said in an interview that he was drawn to the role because the book reminded him of growing up in La Jolla, California. The 1962 soft cover edition of the novel opens, "The southern town of Macomb, Alabama, reminds me of the California town I grew up in. The characters of the novel are like people I knew as a boy. I think perhaps the great appeal of the novel is that it reminds readers everywhere of a person or a town they have known. It is, to me, a universal story, moving, passionate, and told with great humor and tenderness." Gregory Peck. The producers had wanted to use Harper Lee's hometown of Monroeville, Alabama for the set. Harper Lee used her experiences as a child in Monroeville as the basis for the fictional town of Macomb, so it seemed that would be the best place. However, the town had changed significantly between the 1920s and the early 1960s, so they made it on the back lot in Hollywood instead. The old Monroe County courthouse was the model for the set used in the film. A scene from the play performed in the actual courthouse in Monroeville is depicted on Wikipedia as well. The old Monroe County courthouse in Monroeville was used as a model for the film set, since they could not use the courthouse due to its poor acoustics. The accuracy of the recreated courthouse in Hollywood led many Alabamans to believe that the film was shot in Monroeville. The old courthouse in Monroe County is now a theater for many plays inspired by To Kill a Mockingbird, as well as a museum dedicated to multiple authors from Monroeville. The film received widespread critical acclaim. It maintains a whopping 93% rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on 69 reviews, with an average rating of, again, a whopping 8.9 out of 10. I'm giving it 6 out of 10. This movie is way overrated. The site's critical consensus states, To Kill a Mockingbird is a textbook example of a message movie done right. Sober-minded and earnest, but never letting its social conscience get in the way of gripping drama. Metacritic using a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 88 out of 100 based on 16 critics, meaning universal acclaim, another whopping 88 out of 100 on Metacritic. According to Bosley Crowther of the New York Times, when the movie premiered at the Radio City Music Hall, Horton Foote's script and the direction of Mr. Mulligan may not penetrate that deeply, but they do allow Mr. Peck and Little Miss Badham and Master Alfred to play delightful characters. Their charming enactments of a father and his children in that close relationship, which can occur at only one brief period, are worth all the footage of the film. Rosemary Mary Murphy as a neighbor, Brock Peters as the Negro on trial, and Frank Overton as a troubled sheriff are good as locality characters too. James Anderson and Colin Wilcox as Southern bigots are almost caricatures, but those are minor shortcomings in a rewarding film. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times criticized the film for focusing less on black people, criticizing the film for having a white savior narrative. It expresses the liberal pieties of a more innocent time, the early 1960s, and it goes very easy on the realities of small town Alabama in the 1930s. One of the most dramatic scenes shows a lynch mob facing Atticus, who is all by himself on the jailhouse steps the night before Tom Robinson's trial. The mob is armed and prepared to break in and hang Robinson, but Scout bursts onto the scene, recognizes Farmer by her father, and shames him and all the other men into leaving. Her speech is a calculated strategic exercise, masked as the innocent words of a child. One shot of her eyes shows she realizes exactly what she's doing. Could a child turn away a lynch mob at that time in that place? Isn't it nice to think so? I would think so. Walt Disney requested that the film be privately screened in his house. At the film's conclusion, Disney sadly stated, "That was one hell of a picture. That's the kind of film I wish I could make." In a retrospective review, U.S. film critic Pauline Kael claimed that when Gregory Peck received the Academy Award for Best Actor, there was a fair amount of derision. There was a fair amount of derision throughout the country. Peck was better than usual, but in that same virtuously dull way, there was the suspicion that Peck was being rewarded because the Lincoln-esque lawyer shot a rabid dog and defended an innocent black man accused of raping a white woman. I like that scene where they shoot the dog. One of the little old ladies at church said, "Oh, poor dog, oh." Peck's performance became synonymous with the role and character of Atticus Finch. Hardly a day passes that I don't think how lucky I was to be cast in that film, Peck said in a 1997 interview. "I recently sat at a dinner next to a woman who saw it when she was 14 years old, and she said it changed her life. I hear things like that all the time." Harper Lee, in liner notes written for the film's DVD re-release by Universal, wrote, "When I learned that Gregory Peck would play Atticus Finch in the film production of To Kill a Mockingbird, I was of course delighted. He was a fine actor who made great films. What more could a writer ask for? The years told me his secret. When he played Atticus Finch, he played himself. And time has told all of us something more. When he played himself, he touched the world." Upon Peck's death in 2003, Brock Peters, who played Tom Robinson in the film version, quoted Harper Lee at Peck's eulogy saying, "Atticus Finch gave him an opportunity to play himself." Peters concluded his eulogy stating, "To my friend Gregory Peck, to my friend Atticus Finch, vaya con Dios." Peters remembered the role of Tom Robinson when he recalled, "It certainly is one of my proudest achievements in life, one of the happiest participations in film or theater I have experienced." Peters remained friends not only with Peck, but with Mary Badham throughout his life. Peck himself admitted that many people reminded him of this film more than any other film he had ever done. Academy Awards Best Picture, Alan J. Pakula nominated. Best Director, Robert Mulligan nominated. Best Actor, Gregory Peck won. Best Supporting Actress, Mary Badham nominated. Best Adapted Screenplay, Horton Foote won. Best Art Direction, Alexander Golitzin, Henry Bumstead, and Oliver Emmert won. Best Cinematography, Russell Harlan nominated. Best Original Score, Elmer Bernstein nominated. American Cinema Editors Awards, Best Edited Feature Film, Aaron Stell nominated. British Academy Film Awards, Best Film from Any Source nominated. Best Foreign Actor, Gregory Peck nominated. Cannes Film Festival, Palme d'Or, Gary Cooper Award to Robert Mulligan. The Palme d'Or, Robert Mulligan was nominated. The Gary Cooper Award, Robert Mulligan won. David D. Donatello Awards, Best Foreign Actor, Gregory Peck won. Directors Guild of America Awards, Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures, Robert Mulligan nominated. Golden Globe Awards, Best Picture Drama nominated. Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, Gregory Peck won. Best Director Motion Picture, Robert Mulligan nominated. Best Original Score Motion Picture, Elmer Bernstein won. Best Film Promoting International Understanding won. Laurel Awards, Top General Entertainment won. Top Male Dramatic Performance, Gregory Peck nominated. Top Female Supporting Performance, Mary Badham nominated. National Film Preservation Board, National Film Registry inducted. New York Film Critics Circle Awards, Best Film nominated. Best Screenplay, Horton Foote nominated. Online Film and Television Association Awards, Hall of Fame Motion Picture won. Producers Guild of America Awards, PGA Hall of Fame Motion Pictures, Alan J. Pakula won. Writers Guild of America Awards, Best Written American Drama, Horton Foote won. In 1995, To Kill a Mockingbird was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Oh, Adam is in the chat room now. Karate Man left. Adam was in there and he left. Adam asks, what would you give this movie out of 10? I give it a 6. Sorry about that, Adam. It is also Robert Duvall's big screen debut as the misunderstood recluse Boo Radley. Duvall was cast on the recommendation of screenwriter Horton Foote, who met him at Neighborhood Playhouse in New York City, where Duvall starred in a 1957 production of Foote's play, The Midnight Caller. In 2007, Hamilton was honored by the Harlem community for her part in the movie. She was the last surviving Black adult who had a speaking part in the movie. When told of the award, she said, I think it's terrific. I'm very pleased and well surprised. And very surprised. The American Film Institute named Atticus Finch the greatest movie hero of the 20th century. Additionally, the AFI ranked the movie second on their 100 Years, 100 Cheers list behind It's a Wonderful Life. The film was ranked number 34 on AFI's list of the 100 greatest movies of all time, but moved up to number 25 on the 10th anniversary list. In June 2008, the AFI released its 10 top 10, the best 10 films and 10 classic U.S. film genres after polling over 1,500 people from the creative community. To Kill a Mockingbird was acknowledged as the best film in the courtroom drama genre. American Film Institute lists AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movies, number 34. AFI's 100 Years, 100 Heroes and Villains, Atticus Finch, number one hero. AFI's 100 Years of Film Scores, number 17. AFI's 100 Years, 100 Cheers, number 2. AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movies 10th Anniversary Edition, number 25. AFI's top 10 AFI's 10 top 10 number one courtroom drama. Elmer Bernstein's score for To Kill a Mockingbird is regarded as one of the greatest film scores and has been recorded 3 times. It was first released in April 1963 on Ava. Then Bernstein re-recorded it in the 1970s for his film music collection series. And finally, he recorded the complete score below in And finally, he recorded the complete score in 1996 with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra for the Varese Sarabande film classic series. All right. So this movie is 129 minutes. 2 hours and 9 minutes, way too long. I don't know why people love this movie so much. Because it's anti-discriminatory, I guess. And here we go. To Kill a Mockingbird, 1962, 2 hours, 9 minutes, way too long. Here's another interesting movie poster. It says not suitable for children. I think I like this movie on IMDb better than the one on Wikipedia. Anyways. Here we go. It gets a whopping 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb. 342,000 ratings in terms of popularity. It's ranked 1,712, up 123. A widow lawyer in Depression-era Alabama defends a black man against a false race charge while teaching his young children about the sad reality of prejudice. More like this: Citizen Kane, Vertigo, The Sting, and North by Northwest. I guess these are the creme de la creme. Certainly Vertigo and Citizen Kane are number 1 and number 2 in terms of greatest movies of all time. I can understand Vertigo. Citizen Kane, I cannot understand why people rate it so high. It's another overrated movie. So this movie, To Kill a Mockingbird, in many ways is overrated the same way as Citizen Kane is overrated. Gregory Peck's summation speech, which runs for 6 minutes and 30 seconds, was nailed in a single take. That is impressive. Gregory Peck is a decent actor. I do have to admit, At around 30 minutes, when Scout and Jim are debating, Jim going back to retrieve his trousers from Boo Radley's, Scout can be seen mouthing Jim's lines. Atticus Finch is quoted as saying, I remember when my daddy gave me that gun, he told me that I should never point it at anything in the house, that he'd rather I'd shoot at a tin cans in the backyard. I don't care about Black Bag. Get me out of here. What is going on here? I was looking at IMDb and then it just completely covered the screen with this ad thing. Okay. Got to get creative here. I remember when Daddy gave me that gun, he told me that I should never point it at anything in the house, that he'd rather I'd shoot at tin cans in the backyard. But he said that sooner or later he supposed the temptation to go after birds would be too much, and that I could shoot all the blue jays I wanted if I could hit them. But to remember, it was a sin to kill a mockingbird. Jim says, why? Atticus Finch says, well, I reckon because mockingbirds don't do anything but make music for us to enjoy. They don't eat people's gardens, don't nest in the corn crib. They don't do one thing but just sing their hearts out for us. And that To Kill a Mockingbird theme comes back at the end too. When they're talking about the sheriff dude, his behavior. The title is revealed in a child's crayon rubbing. This was edited into Passage a la Acte, 1993. All right, here's a very flattering review from Jam 5219, April 10th, 2002. Keep in mind, I'm rating it 6 out of 10. Jam 5219 gives it a 10 out of 10. And the title of the review on IMDb is Enough Can't Be Said. Enough good things can't be said about this movie. Is undoubtedly one of the best and most moving films ever made. No other racial injustice or discriminatory based movie can even compare with To Kill a Mockingbird. This movie not only makes you sympathize with those who are being discriminated against, but also those who fought for those people. One of the most moving parts of the movie is when Atticus Finch is leaving the courtroom and Reverend Sykes tells Scout to stand up, your father is passing. Like he's some kind of priest or Superman. Gregory Peck has always been one of my favorite actors. This is definitely one of my favorite roles that he has ever played, and he does an excellent job at it. No doubt. But the dialogue is kind of questionable in this one. Mary Badham and Philip Alford are excellent as Jem and Scout. Mary Badlam became the youngest girl to receive an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Scout. She does a great job in this movie. Both Gregory Peck and Mary Badham. I kept wondering if she was a boy, because at the beginning of the movie she's dressed up in boy clothes. Of course, she's super young, so she's flat chested. and she's got a boy's haircut. I'm thinking, is this what are you, a boy or a girl, Mary Badham? Later, we see her in a dress, and it's obviously that she's a girl. But if she was in a modern Disney movie or something similar, a person in a dress is not necessarily a girl. So it's a 1962 movie when they say that a kid in a dress is actually a girl and not a boy. Anyways, although if it had a short time on screen, Robert Duvall's portrayal of Boo Radley was one of his first roles on screen. And what better movie than To Kill a Mockingbird to kick off your acting career? Yeah. No wonder he got all those nice roles in all those lamestream movies after To Kill a Mockingbird. A great movie of all times. I don't know about that. I'm not convinced. Somebody has to convince me. Maybe Adam? Oh, he's gone. Never mind. Okay. So I got Karate Man. I answered Karate Man. He's not interested in this movie. He made 3 chats about the movie and then he left. Obviously, he doesn't care. It's not a movie that I'm crazy about, but Adrian likes it for some reason, probably because it has a lot of racist overtones from the Alabama. So tomorrow, unfortunately, I have to buy a sandwich for my son, and I have to sign the recall position for Joel Engardio, the District 4 supervisor here in Outer Sunset. So I'm going to 40th Avenue in Vicente, some park. They're going to have petitions there for me to sign. I registered to vote for the first time since the Gavin Newsom recall. The only time I ever vote is when politicians are getting recalled. This guy should be fired already, but we have to wait for the recall election. Because he shut down the Great Highway here so that he could build a park and attract all kind of cars in my neighborhood. And he probably wants to build high-rise apartments too here. He wants to turn the Sunset into the Tenderloin, basically. Is what he's trying to do. And none of the neighbors here like him. He'll get some page stooge from one of his developer buddies to post something on what's the name of that? Oh, it's called Neighborly, I think. Oh no, it's called Nextdoor. So somebody will post something on Nextdoor that says, "I stand with Joel Engardio," or whatever his name is, and then a bunch of people will jump on there with like 100 different comments That say that he should be fired. He's a traitor. He's a Benedict Arnold. So that was pretty amusing. I'm hoping they can get over 10,000 signatures to get this recall on the ballot, so I can vote yes on it. And the only reason to vote is to fire corrupt politicians, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so I won't go through my movie list again. I already went through it in my last video. Obviously, I skipped over the top three and I went for 393 or something. So I crossed off 393 off my list. And I'll probably watch another movie from 2016 next month when I go back to see Dominic's to watch it on a projection screen. Somewhat big screen. Decent sound. It's like being in a movie theater. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. This St. Dominic's potluck. Got some pasta, some fruit, and some salad out of it. And I only paid $9 for the for big 2 tubs, really big blueberries. So that was good. Sitting there with a bunch of old people watching To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but the whole discrimination thing didn't really appeal to me that much. Uh, I was more interested in the scout kid, honestly, than I was about the prejudice, because it's being told from her perspective, growing up as a kid, as a little girl, and I think the actress, the little girl, did a great job acting. She's kind of a tomboy, but like I said earlier, she learns to mature fairly quickly in this one. So I liked her. There's a lot of overt racism in this one from the dumb Hicks in this fictitious Alabama town. So there's that, and some decent acting from Gregory Peck. The dialogue I didn't care for. It was just kind of fun to see the kids run around. These white kids run around, and I don't know. I guess they learned a lot from Gregory Peck in this movie. Whatever Gregory Peck stood for, he was standing up for his principles, and it was kind of a letdown that he didn't get a non-guilty verdict, and then basically his client, the black dude, committed suicide by apparently running away. They were trying to protect him from the lynch mob, and move him to a safer jail, I guess. And he just ran away, and the police officer who was not a good shooter with this gun, I guess, shot him in the head, even though he wanted to like wound him. He missed his target, and he ended up shooting in the head or something. Anyways, I'm up over an hour. I said enough about this movie. I was not super impressed by it. I didn't think it was. It's certainly not in the top 100 movies. Neither is Citizen Kane. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong towards the top of the list when you're talking about greatest movies of all time. I don't know why these movies get so much wide recognition. I guess they're politically correct, and they kind of hit the all of the politically correct um, points, which is why James Stewart refused to take the role. I guess he thought it was too controversial, and it doesn't go into more detail on Wikipedia, which they would explain what he meant by that. Anyways, later. So that's the end of my review. I'm not going down my list again, and that's it. Laters.